Perfectly. Hi, everyone. This is Vinod. Okay, so welcome all. Thank you for joining this session. Um, Typically, infrastructure as a service comes in two forms, unmanaged and managed one. We as a T system has expertise in transforming unmanaged cloud IaaS to a managed one. And we would like to share our experience in this talk, how we do this transformation. So I'm Vinod, enthusiast working with this system as a project manager based in Pune. I'm having a 16 years of experience in R&D, basically in domain telecom, security, defense, maritime surveillance, and I love traveling and experiencing different culture. So that's some short intro from my side. I have my colleague along with me, Deepjyoti Nath. So Deep, over to you.
Yeah, hello everyone, and welcome to the session. So my name is Deepjyoti Nath. I work in T systems in India location as an architect. I work in my team, which specifically works mostly in the DevOps specific works, define and implementation of automation process for the infrastructure and manage the infrastructure mostly in the cloud native applications. So I have around 12 years of experience, mostly in the development as well as designing and solutioning of different application architecture, mostly cloud native applications for different business domains for different customers. Thank you.
So in this talk, we will be talking about what are actually the non-managed infra and the applications on top of it. And then we will be taking or sharing the transformation challenges which normally we face and we have to handle during the transformation. Then we will be discussing about the managed elements, which are basically to be integrated when we talk about a managed infrastructure. We will be sharing how we do this and what are the tools and how we integrate it to the different systems. Then we will be sharing a case study with you based on our experience with our customers and followed by the key learnings which we are going to share, the key points which are to be taken care when you will be planning the transformation in this transformation. So let me move topic. Yep, sorry. So there is some delay, so sorry for the delay. Let's talk about what are the non-managed IaaS or when we say infrastructure. In this, basically, if you relate with the picture, right, which is shared on the, which is seen in the screen, manual installation which are not planned. We are doing setups which are like we wanted to complete it fast. Some might be some experience might be come as the picture which is shown here. So we wanted to avoid it to move to a managed one, a planned one. Coming to the topic of the monitoring, which is a key element. And when we talk about non-managed one, some this key resource monitoring is missing along with key administration where we lack in the non-managed infra. The key processes which involves around patching and backup, these are missing. If we talk about a non-managed one, where the key is to implement fast, so that the workload can be used and can be delivered fast. So this will be which will be normally missing in a non-managed one. Coming to a limited operational support, basically when we are having in a non-managed one, it becomes very difficult to support for or a standard SLA. And operations sometimes spend a lot of effort in understanding actually then only they can be working on the critical issues or the items. There is the very key element which is like which comes at the end when we have to clean the account or the clean the resources. And at that time when we have a non-managed infra, it's really become a task. And also a clean sanitization sometimes become difficult, which gives trouble when we plan to reuse that infra. So this is a very important point which is to be taken care when we have to do a sanitization. Inconsistent environment is a challenging stuff when we have to redeploy or deploy multiple times, and it's like we do not have an automated stuff with us. It's really a painful, and sometimes we face lots of mess in delivering that. So it's a key that if we have to scale or we have to redeploy the stuff, maybe for a test or a regression or acceptance, it's always becoming a problem. The last not the least is the supporting changes. So when we say we have to do a change management, it's a difficult thing. Takes lots of time. Maybe the impact analysis we cannot do properly, or maybe we miss something, and we'll have to face critical issues in it. So when we say moving from non-managed to a managed one, this is like adding or adding specific services, how we can handle these situations. So for manual provisioning, we recommend, so in managed one, we recommend infrastructure as a code to do this provisioning for us. Installation taken care by automation, monitoring moving to a centralized location, and then our operations takes care of monitoring all the resources that to be in an automated and alerting when there is any issue to the engineer on duty. Patching is itself a critical one, and if we automate this, this becomes an easy, and only when there is an issue, then only resource intervention is required. Otherwise, it can be handled easily by automation. Backup and resource is something very critical. This we do it through automation, moving moving our non-managed infra towards a managed one using infrastructure as a code. So let me take you to the next step of our journey, where we will be sharing with you the challenges. What are the challenges which we have to face when we typically plan the transformation from this non-managed to the managed one. So my colleague Deep will be taking from here. So Deep, over to you.
Yeah, hello everyone, and welcome to the session once again. So as my colleague Vinod already mentioned, what are the different problem scenario or the concerns that customer normally face while they have the different application running in a non-managed way, and they always come up with the request of having those non-managed infrastructure to transform into a managed one. And while doing those transformation, there are like some areas or the key challenges in some areas which basically we need to first focus on, so that we have a seamless transformation process. So the first one is basically the managing the infrastructure as code. So as we have to have a managed ecosystem with all the infrastructures to be managed in a centralized way. So we need to first identify the all the infrastructure stacks and whatever dependencies of the stacks with respect to the application which is to be hosted. So for that, we need to first identify the infrastructure and manage them as a code. So, and while managing the infrastructure or deploying or setting up or making any changes of the infrastructures through code, we need to have a we need to define a generic and reusable code so that the same code can be used to deploy the infrastructure or manage the infrastructure in different environments. So that is a key area which we need to focus on. Then the infrastructure state management is also an important point because as we are managing the whole infrastructure through script or through code, so the states will be maintained in a centralized way, and therefore, what if there is any changes in the state and there are any asynchronization happens in the state, then it may have lots of chaos while managing those infrastructure. Then another key area in the challenge or the challenging area is basically when we have the integrations. So as we are transforming the infrastructure to a managed ecosystem, so we definitely need to enable some additional services to have a proper centralized governance system. For example, like to monitor all the core resources for the applications, we may need to have a automation in the monitoring side. We may have proper patch or backup services to be enabled. So for those additional services, we need to create those additional services and integrate with the core resources. And along with that, while adding new services, we may need new roles or permissions to access the existing resources. And for that, we need to also have proper assessment of roles and permissions. The other key area is basically in the retaining the existing configurations. What does that mean is like sometimes it's we may have some applications which have like third-party licenses or some legacy applications which have the application hosted on such an infrastructure, and there is a tightly coupling between the application and the underlying hardware. So in that way, in that case, we may not be able to create a fresh managed infrastructure and migrate the application into to run it on a new managed system, but rather we have to go with having the or retaining the existing system or configurations only, existing infrastructures only, and transform that existing infrastructure into a managed ecosystem. And there may be while we transform or while we create managed infrastructure freshly, then there may also be some endpoint configurations issue because the application may have coupling with some external systems which have been integrated through different endpoints, and there may be different different teams or different dependencies for which the endpoints reconfigurations may be an issue. So we need to retain those endpoints while transforming the infrastructure into the managed system. So going to the next slide. Okay. I think it takes some time to reflect. Okay. Yeah. So this is basically the way we achieve how the different challenges we face or we identified while transformation. We basically achieve this by using Terraform as infrastructure as code. And in this diagram, if you can see that we have in Terraform, which is an open source of for which can be used as an infrastructure as code, as a widely used and popular tool and it has like multi-cloud support for provisioning and management of infrastructures. So we use Terraform to provision the resources in a secured way. Uh, we whenever there is any change management from the customer side for updating any or enhancing the existing infrastructure, then through the Terraform we can automatically do that without having any downtime or any in a seamless way. We can do the change management with Terraform. We can also enable the monitoring support service by creating alarms for the used resources or the infrastructures. For example, like we may have CloudWatch alarms, which can be enabled for different metrics for the existing resources. So those we can do through Terraform. And while creating the alarms for different resources, we have the integration with the notification system, and which will trigger the notification to the automated remediation services, which automatically resolves those alarms. And somehow, if there are like some alarms which needs manual intervention, we have a dedicated operational support team also, which based on the notification, they takes care of those kind of alarms to fix those alarms. And through Terraform, we also have the ability to create standard baseline patches for different and resources. We create through the Terraform templates. We create patches and apply those patches on the resources in an automated way with the customer defined maintenance window, where when we can have the patching applied to the resources. Along with that, we have also added like backup services for backing up data as well as the whole infrastructures or the resources through Terraform. So these are the different kinds of services which we enable or deploy in the cloud through Terraform. And while doing that, we achieve like different benefits, like we developed a whole infrastructure code, and then we can easily deploy and manage the whole entire infrastructure seamlessly and in an automated way. And as we have the code, those are maintained in a centralized version source control system, so developers can collaborate and contribute into the to add or improve the codes, as well as to enhance if there is any new modules or new services to be included in the managed elements. So that can also be done in and saved in our or maintained in our version control system. So we can now do infrastructure testing similar to like application testing, and we can validate the infrastructure before the actual deployment. We can use the Terraform to deploy in different environments consistently, because the same reusable components are being used, where we can apply the compliance rules or the organization level policies through Terraform, and it will have a consistent environments across across different accounts or different environments. And with this, we basically have the achieve the operational excellency, and it basically obviously it improves the customer satisfaction while transforming those infrastructure into managed system through Terraform. So the next I would like to go and talk about one of the case study as an example where we successfully were able to do a transformation of the infrastructure into managed through Terraform. So if you see in the diagram, we have like two boxes. One is the yellow boxes and one is the green boxes. The yellow boxes is basically the existing that application, which was having different cloud resources. We use AWS cloud here. So we have like load balancer and the EC2 instance where the application was hosted on, and it's an application having a third-party vendor license registered with the server. So along with that, there is an RDS MySQL instance which was used as a backend data source for the application, and all those infrastructure services were um, uh, created manually, and there is no proper management or operational support. So as per customers requirement, we have to um, uh, enable supports for this kind of for this application with converting or transforming it into a managed infrastructure system. So for that, we use Terraform import feature, which is like a rescue for us, because we don't want to have a downtime for the transformation process while the transformation happens. Along with that, because of the different dependencies with different external systems, we do not want to have the reconfiguration. So all the existing resources are being transformed into Terraform state through Terraform import. But while doing the Terraform import, we need to have a set of uh, uh, processes which we need to follow. So we perform the Terraform import in a step-by-step processes. For example, like backing up of the existing resources, then backing up the current Terraform states. We enable termination protection on the resources so that there is no any accidental deletion or destroy while during the transformation process. And then we also identify the dependent services. For example, like the security groups, or for the RDS instance, we may have like subnet groups or parameter groups. So those dependent resources needs to be imported first, and then we can import the core services like EC2 or RDS. So once the import is done, we also update the parameter values exactly same with the values which are currently there in the existing application. In that way, the Terraform state is always in sync with the currently running infrastructure. And for the green boxes, you can see like additional supporting services. We enable baseline patches as per customer's requirement, with standard patches enable, which have like OS level and security level patching applied at a configurable maintenance window timing. We enable CloudWatch alarms for different resources like EC2, RDS, ELB, and we also have the IAM modules, which have been associated with the core services. We use AWS backup service for backing up data for different resources. So in that way, we created new services as well as import the existing resources to Terraform state, and we maintain a S3 bucket for maintaining that resource states in a centrally and remotely. And we also use DynamoDB table for locking mechanism of Terraform operations for this Terraform managed system. So in this way, we are successfully able to transform the whole infrastructure into Terraform managed infrastructure. And while we're doing that, we basically also took away some key learnings, or which we apply in the future projects or future such kind of transformation projects. For example, we work on collaboration across dependent teams. So as we enable the supports, operational supports of the managed infrastructures, so we have now different teams like the infrastructure support team, the application support team, network and security support teams. So all those different teams have different roles and responsibilities, and we define a streamlined process to work in a collaborative way to support the applications and whatever supports are required from different area. Along with that, we also perform impact analysis of the shared resources before the actual deployment of the resources. And this is required because in the specific application, there are like some shared resources like VPC, subnets, which were shared with different applications, which were not in our scope of transformation. So we need to ensure that those shared resources are not impacted due to our transformation process. We also define roles and policies for different teams, because different teams will have different access required to the system. For that, we define roles specific to the teams, and only the appropriate permissions are provided to to those roles to access the system. And along with that, we also ensure that Terraform state is always in sync with the resources state. And this is very important whenever we have such infrastructure managed through code, because it will ensure that there is no manual, or we need to ensure that there is no manual changes through the console. If we make any changes in the resources in a manual way or via console, it will have the sync issue with the Terraform state, which we are maintaining in a S3 bucket. And later on, if we want to make changes through Terraform and run some Terraform plan or apply operation, it will show us the differences. And in that way, sometimes it may be very, very big problems or challenges to make or fix such kind of issue. And the last but not the least is the always ensure termination protection is enabled for resources, specifically in the production environment, because as we are now maintaining the resources through Terraform, so it's due to some operations in the Terraform, sometimes there may be some destroy or deletion may happen. So it is not desirable to have such kind of deletion in the production environment. So so the resources which are critical, those should always be having the termination protection enabled, and then we can have the Terraform configured with the resources. So with that, we basically conclude what we basically want to share with you as an experience of transforming a non-managed based infrastructure application into the managed infrastructure. Thank you all for the joining the session.